Welcome back to wagertalk.com. I'm joined by Brian James, Executive Sports. I'm Marco D'Angelo. We're going to talk about the Tuesday meeting and handicapping techniques. When I moved to Vegas 2008, and way before that, I had always heard about this infamous Tuesday meeting, Brian. I didn't know if it was urban legend or if it really existed. And once I moved to Vegas, and the story on the Tuesday meeting is there was this secret location in town where some very sharp bettors, handicappers, some people that sell their picks, some people that don't sell picks but just bet a lot of money, sharp. They get together and they go like a round table discussion. They cover all of the games. I didn't know if it was an urban myth or not. When I got here, I met our partner in crime, who's not here this week, Brian Leonard. He actually was a member of the Tuesday meeting. He actually was one of the founding members and was instrumental in getting that started and keeping it going. And he invited me to it. And when I went to it for the first time, it was like I had to chuckle a little bit because it's what me and you did 30 years ago. Only there was only two of us instead of a room of 15 to 20 people, where every Thursday I'd call you up on the phone and you'd call me. We'd go over the entire card of college and
lengthy phone calls.
Lengthy, and
very
guys,
numerous.
you got to think. We've been doing this for 35 years, being a business. Back then, there was no cell phones, no unlimited calling plans.
Long distance.
We were paying long distance fees because we lived like an hour and a half from each other. So at some point, we figured out it was probably better just to drive halfway and meet. And we used to meet.
But we couldn't keep those secret because all people had to do is find the nearest buffet, and that's usually where our meeting was at.
Well, back then we went to, which actually was almost halfway for both of us. We went to a place in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, which people that know, I'm from Pittsburgh and know I'm a big Steeler fan. You're a Steeler fan too. Latrobe may ring a bell. One, it's home of Arnold Palmer, but it's also home of the Pittsburgh Steelers training camp at St. Vincent College. And we used to go to a bar that was just literally like 2 minutes from St. Vincent College, and we would hang out there. It was a sports bar. It was called Sharky's. And me and you've downed quite a few beers there. I'm not quite the drinker that you are, but then again, you're not quite the eater that I am. I downed quite a few chicken wings there at Sharky's. But we would talk about these games, and a lot of, people know all of these situational things that I do. A lot of those situational things, they were born with me and you discussing over, trial and error when we would rehash games, because not only would we talk about the games this week, but when we would see something in a game that would trigger one of our memories from a game the previous week, we'd say, well, doesn't the setup on this game seem the same as so-and-so last week? And then we'd go back and look at it, and then that's how we started looking at these different scenarios.
Well, what's nice to have somebody to bounce those things off of too is, you can't remember everything. And as I get older, I'm finding it's hard to remember anything. But you have to have somebody point something out. Like, didn't something like this happen last week in this game? And it's, oh yeah, I forgot all about that game. That type of thing. So yeah, we bounced a lot of ideas off of one another, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like any other. It's like any other profession.
For me, I don't know about you, I learn more from a loss than I do from a win. Because when you win a game, you put it in the books, you cash the ticket, and you move on. You're happy you won. But when you lost the game, one, you're upset, because nobody likes to lose. But the fact is, in this business, for the most part, you're going to lose 44 or 46% of the time, on average. A good, if you hit 56%, you've had a very good year when you're playing a lot of volume and using it, and dispels the myth of people that think everybody's going to win 80% of the time. That doesn't happen. You'll have runs of 70 or 80% for short periods of time, but long term you're looking the other way. But when you lose a game, you go back and you look and you say, what did I miss here?
Where did I go wrong?
Did we miss something? But then when we find something that was working a couple times, said, doesn't that seem like that game last week? And then so we use that game this week, and in that same situation wins again. Well, then you got a pattern, and then we start to go back and pull out the annuals and look from previous years and look for those kind of setups again. And that's how we come up with things that we've done 35 years. It's like perfecting, both of us are Italian, our mothers, old Italian cooks, but they still would add a little bit of something to the ingredients all the time. You're always making it better, and that's what handicapping is.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta. It's. I like the analogy with the Italian mother cooking, because they didn't write anything down. They just started throwing stuff in the pot, and most of the time it was the same, but there was always something a little bit different. And that's the way you handicap. It's like you go with what's working. Whenever you lose, you go back and say, where did I go wrong? How can I change this, the way I looked at this game? And you got to correct as you go. It's like actually going out and playing a game. You're developing your game plan and your format, on the fly as you go, and you stick with what's working, and then you get somebody else's opinion and you throw that in there, and pretty soon you got.
And that's the thing that at Wager Talk, most people, they don't want to share the information of what they've done. We're sharing the information and teaching you guys some of these things that we've found and used over the years to help you guys. And, of course, there's a lot of work involved in doing all of these games and basketball games on, you do a Friday night when there's 100 college basketball games. You got to look at every one of them, because you don't know where these situations are at. We'll give you some of them so that help you, that you can do your own handicapping, but you're still going to, need to follow somebody, and we hope that you choose us. But, it's not all about selling picks at Wager Talk. We're here to educate as well. Brian, thank you for sitting in. Look forward to you flying to Vegas often and sitting in with us on the panel and sharing the insight. And, of course, pick him up, follow him on Twitter, and check out in the forums and stuff. He's going to be doing a lot more stuff with Wager Talk moving forward. He's Brian James and Marco D'Angelo. Thanks for tuning in to Wager Talk. We'll be back with more informational videos in the near future.